Hello, my dear audience. This is Hello, my dear audience. This is Sat Sangat, and um, hello, my dear audience. This is Sat Sangat with Sat Sangat Astrology. Um, I thank you for watching and listening to my report of the full moon in Aries. This is the full moon occurring today, October 13 at 4:07 p.m. here in Texas. So, if you like my reports, I encourage you to like the videos, share them, please, and make comments. I also suggest that you're following me in on Facebook at Sat Sangat, and also I have a blog called satsangatastrology.blogspot.com, and it's where I write the complete report. Today I'm doing kind of a shorter version of it for people who like to watch and listen instead of reading. And what else? Well, thank you for listening to me, and I am now ready to start the report. So, the full moon in Aries is very tightly conjunct Eris. So, first of all, the sign of Aries is ruled by Mars, the warrior, and Aries is the goddess of strife and discord. And she was said, the myth said that she came to the party of the gods and goddesses and she offered an apple, um, offering to the fairest one. So then the goddesses started to fight over it. Um, of course, saying that each were the fairest. And this started the discord that originated the Trojan War. So, current, because these days is when we are hearing news about the expanding of the Middle East war, and we, in fact, we don't lack conflicts around the world. If you've been following the news, you know that there are conflicts, political conflicts, social, economic conflicts all over the place. So, to add to this tension, I mean, the opposition of the sun in Libra, striving for balance and striving for harmony and conciliation between the parties, and then the moon showing the the power of people who are not happy. And remember that we also have Chiron in Aries, even though it's not conjunct, but is in the same sign. And so people are suffering around the world, and there are protests asking for the right to be, right? The right to be me, the right to be different, and even the right to survive. Aries is also the protection of one's life, right? So to add to this tension, the moon and the sun are on a T square. It means that both are in at a 90-degree angle with Pluto. And so it means that all the energy is concentrated on Pluto. And As you may probably know, Pluto is the planet of transmutation. So, Pluto in Capricorn is doing demolition and um, it's bringing up all the things that are no longer useful. You know that Pluto also rules recycling because it rules death and rebirth. So Pluto is kind of regenerating the societal structures, the political structures, economic structures that society has been agreeing upon, but now they are now no longer useful. So you see the tension between those three points is very tight, and the in fact the 90-degree angle is exact just for a few minutes because the moon is at 14 minutes, 20 degree 14 minutes, and Pluto is at 40 minutes. So 20 degrees 40 minutes. So it's very tight, and as I said, Aries is tightly close to by 2 degrees, I think, to the moon. It doesn't show here in the picture, but that's what it is. So Mars is the ruler of this full moon, and he is also in the sign of Libra on the other side, even though it's not directly opposed by degree, but it is opposed by sign. So and is very tightly opposed to Chiron. So this is also a polarity that needs to be rebalanced. So this is the warrior fighting for what is fair and harmony, and fighting for fairness and what is just, especially for those people that are suffering for some reason. Chiron in Aries is mainly the wound of being oneself, the wound of being different, and the wound of existing. So just being in this body is already a limitation for a human being because um, we are spiritual beings. Making this experience that with the body limits our movement, right? In space and time, it limits by the time. Whereas in the spiritual world, there is no time, and so this is wound enough in order to just have the right to do it, right? And well, as you may have heard, there are countries where people are fighting just for to have food to eat, to survive, a shelter, and the right to feed their children, to have their families. That's another thing because even though it's at 20 degrees in the nodal axis, the moon nodal axis is at 12 degrees presently, there is a square, a cardinal square. So, and those cardinal signs imply attention that requires action, change. There's something that gotta give in order for us to resolve this conflict. And this conflict is leading us to this north node, where we are looking for, as a whole, as a collective, humanity is looking for safety, security, the security of the family, a refuge, a shelter from adversity, right? We're looking for a place and space and conditions that can provide for the families, that can um, uh, assure that we can survive. And let us not forget that if we don't change, things will continue this way, and we will face the threat or the risk of extinction. Extinction. So this is a serious moment, and we are building up to the historical Saturn Pluto conjunction in January, that is really something very, very important, something very, very heavy, I would say. This conjunction hasn't happened in Capricorn for 500 years, and last time it happened, it was at the beginning of the I would call it invasion of the continent of America by the European powers and European people who came because also they didn't have enough resources and they were looking for um, survival at that time. So um, now, 500 years later, we're closing that cycle of Saturn and Pluto and Capricorn, conjoined and Capricorn. And so this is the last of it, the last of it. So the systems and the organizations in society, the political organizations, and the distribution of powers in the world that were set up at those 500 years ago are coming to an end. And now the distribution of powers will be different. There will be a redistribution in order to ensure that we can survive. North Node in Cancer. So, some of the things that I talk in my article, my written article, is about the 20 degrees of Capricorn that it has been visited by Pluto several times in the past two years. In fact, since February 2018, Pluto has been coming and going over this degree, and Saturn also stationed there to go retrograde. So, if you like more details about the importance of the 20th degree of Capricorn, please, I refer you to my written version in the blog. So, I think that's the most important part. I would like also to mention that there is a kite configuration, obviously astrological kite, and it's in water signs. Mercury is 13 degrees of Scorpio, um, Neptune 16, Pisces, and the North Node at 12, Cancer. So even though this is not exact, it's been forming for quite some time. It's been present for quite some time. So because every month when the moon transits Scorpio, it has been trining and it has been forming this trine for several months prior. So the fact that Mercury is now forming this trine is very significant. Mercury in Scorpio is digging out information that was hidden, information that was purposely kept hidden, information that could be even criminal. So, but people in general want to know things that were kept away from them before. And Mercury is ruled by Pluto, as I said. So things have been dug out to the light, in order for us to learn the truth. It could be economic, it could be other issues, for example, um, related to sexuality, because Pluto also rules sexuality. So information about that could come up. So any kind of information that was kept hidden. And Neptune is also uncovering the truth in Pisces. So all of that leads, as you see in the chart, um, Mercury is also sextile Saturn, and Saturn sextiling Neptune. So it means that this is serious stuff. Saturn is the discipline necessary. Saturn is the new structures that are being built. And Saturn is, as I said, very serious and requires integrity. Saturn requires maturity and becoming an adult, and taking responsibility for any liability that we may have. So this is serious, very serious, and very strong energy. And it all leads, as you see, as I said in the chart, this kite is pointing to the North Node in Cancer. So everything is pointing to our need to feel safe, to survive, to have every family needs a shelter. Every family needs security and food, and having their survival needs fulfilled. So this is what we are orienting ourselves as a collective humanity with this full moon. And as I mentioned before, this is a critical point, 20 degrees Capricorn, and in this case Libra and Aries, very critical. So in your personal life, you may have relationship tensions, things that may come up for resolution. Um, just use compassion. This Grand Trine in water is asking us to be compassionate with us, to to nurture our emotional side, and strong emotions may come up, and it's very important to pay attention to them in order to resolve whatever it needs to be resolved. So thank you so much for watching or listening, and I appreciate your comments, and your maybe reading my blog for the complete report. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye bye.